Hello everyone. I have a fresh install of OpenSUSE here, so it's time to recalibrate my monitors. And since I need to do this anyway, I decided to bring you along as I launch the program for the first time, get my hardware device set up and running, and go through the calibration process with you. First thing we need to do is launch DisplayCal. Oh, and it's launching on the wrong monitor. See, there's the flash. That's a good sign. Just a second, when it's fully loaded, I will bring the program over onto my main screen. Okay. So this is what you'll see the very first time you load up this program. Yes, we absolutely want to update these. Okay, so now that has finished and we need to basically install the drivers for the hardware piece we're going to use for calibration. This top one fits my hardware device because it has my color monkey right here. So just, check to see what you have and go from there. When I use the Spider 3, this is the one that I used. And we'll go ahead and get that installed. Now we're going to start the setup process that I kind of went over with you in my last color management video. So we need to pick the correct screen. Correction, we're going to leave that on auto. Let's go ahead and maximize this. All right. Now that the initial process of setup is done, that was pretty painless, it is time for a quick note. Before I started this process, I let my monitors warm up at least a half hour. For best calibration, let your monitors warm up before starting this process. Okay, let's move over to calibration. So the first time you enter the calibration tab, everything's going to say as measured. Now you can use that and your hardware device will help measure the ambient temperature of your room, the brightness of your monitor, but I would like to keep consistency not only across all of my monitors, but a consistency in editing. So I'm going to go ahead and set my color temperature. The color of light is on a scale in Kelvin. So the lower number you go, the more warmer or yellow your whites are going to be. And the higher you go, the more cool or blue your whites are going to be. Daylight is usually in the range between 5,000 and 6,500. I like to keep mine here at the 6,500. White level, we're also going to change. Now, this is the brightness of your whites, and I'll leave it here at 120, and I'm also going to keep my tone curve at gamma 2.2 like I showed you before. I will leave a link in the description that explains why we use the gamma 2.2 tone curve. I also like to take my calibration speed down to medium. Now let's move on to the profile settings. Profile quality we're leaving on high. As I said before, the auto optimized chart. So there's these different charts that you can choose from, and that'll affect the number of patches and the colors in those patches. I want it to create the best patch setting for my monitor, and we will now increase the patch number to that 833. And I'm just fine leaving it here on the default profile name. You can go ahead and change this if you want to, but for me, it's fine to leave it there. Now comes the fun part. So I already have my calibration device closed. I'm just going to be here at me moving it, set it here on this spot on my monitor, and click Start Measurement. Popped up on the wrong screen again. Okay, so now the device is warming up. You can see it rolling through some patches as the hardware piece. Ooh, we gotta turn that off. This will turn off that clicking sound, which drives me nuts to leave it on. Okay, so the initial warm-up, the startup of the hardware device that is now working with our software is done, and we're going to click Start Measurement. So this is going to read my monitor settings here. And I'll see what we need to change. So it's not too awfully far off because I did this. When was the last time I did this? A few weeks ago. Now I'm going into my monitor settings and I'm going to change some of these colors. So I need to bring the blues down just a little bit. Now my greens. Alright, why don't we bring the greens back up and bring the reds up. That was too high. So I'm just making slight changes to the individual colors, red, green, blue, on my monitor. So now it's saying that my monitor is just a little bit too bright. So I'm going to back out of the color adjustments on my monitor settings. Sorry you can't see this. And go to the brightness section. Now I have my contrast on all of my monitors set to 50%. I don't mess with that on any of it. I let the gamma curve take care of that. So now let's drop brightness down just a touch and we're all set. We're green here, we're green here, we're on target. We're going to stop measurement and continue on calibration. Now this portion of it will take roughly an hour. I am going to speed this all up and we will see you at the end. All right. So we are done with the calibration. Well, at least done with the first monitor. We're going to go ahead and install this profile. I've noticed that I get this quite a bit, but the profile is actually installed. So we will go ahead and check on that. We can leave this. Go to System Settings. Here. And down to Color Management. So now this one, yep, right here, we have the new color profile installed. You see I haven't done these ones yet. I will do all of them later on. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about previously was that this color corrections tab does not come pre-installed. That's something that I always add. And let me show you how I do that. My preferred way is in the terminal. So you can see that this is installed already, colored, but this is the package that you will need to add in order to get that tab inside settings. This should be installed along with Display Cal, but if it's not, go ahead and install it, and then also install the colored -KDE, and that will give you the interface inside settings. Those additional packages can be installed using a graphical interface as well, like Discover, or the graphical interface for the desktop environment that you're using. I'm just using KDE, Plasma, and Discover would be one of the graphical interfaces for me. On OpenSUSE, I would also have this install remove software to add those additional packages. We are at the end of the first calibration of my monitors. I have 3 more to go, so I will catch you next time. Hope this helps. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the description below. Later.